I'm Sophie Morgan, and I like to live life to the full.
5 seconds, here we go.
Whether it be TV work, skydiving, or modelling, I don't let the fact I'm paralysed hold me back. But I wasn't born disabled. Aged 18, I was a total wild child, and my driving was just as crazy. 6 months after passing my driving test, I was speeding, misjudged a corner, and the car flipped over. I woke up in hospital, confused and completely terrified. It was then that I realised that I couldn't feel my body and that I was paralysed. It's nearly 10 years since my crash, and it's time to face my demons. I'm back in Scotland where it happened, and I'm meeting the people I could have killed. We haven't talked about it since that night. Coming back to this place is very significant for me because it's really where my old life ended and a new life started, and I relive this journey in my dreams sometimes. It's something that is with me for life. The image of this route, of this area, and I never really know how I feel. The main difference, I think, is that when I come up here, I'm coming up here now as someone who's in a wheelchair, and I look back at the girl I was then, wandering around, walking about, and how little I knew how things were going to be affected and what was going to happen and the changes that were going to take place. So this is Duffus Hall. This is where I took my last steps ever. It was here in 2003 that we were out celebrating our A-level results. We all knew it was the end of an era. But for me, it was the end of one life. I remember how I was feeling at the time, full of excitement, because it was basically the next start of my new life, out of school, off to uni. The reality was that that was not going to happen, and it was going to change. The crash happened as we drove back to a friend's house. I had only driven half a mile. Is there not meant to be a fence here?
There was before you went to...
They still haven't fixed it?
Yeah. Well, they still haven't fixed the road either.
Yeah, but they don't need to...
They can't fix the road, though.
On the road, don't they?
Do you remember how fast I was driving?
I think it was maybe about, like, over 70. You took the corner too wide, and then...
Shot across.
Shot across, and then I think the verge lifted the car.
Remember, put my head through a window.
Really?
You're hysterical. I just kept saying, I can't feel my legs, I can't feel my legs. So I thought, oh, that's pretty bad. The fire brigade were there when we left, but they hadn't even, I don't think they'd even worked out how they were going to get Sophie out by the time we left.
The minute I start thinking about how it affects the people that I have in my life, it makes me very, very upset, because it was my fault. Everything was my fault, and my friends have had to live with what I did, and I don't think I'll ever find peace with that.
I was angry with you because you endangered our lives.
There was anger. I think there was upset.
I think it's absolutely fair enough that any of you would get angry. If I had been you and you'd crashed that car, despite anything that you'd done to yourself, I'd be furious with you. I hate thinking about the fact that I could have, done lasting damage to any of you. I'm glad that it was just to me, and in many ways I think I deserve what happened to me, because it was, I was driving like an idiot. Just thought that the rules didn't apply to me and that I could make my own rules and I could do my own thing.